The very first person that introduced me to human design was a reflector. And you guys are such rare birds. Reflectors only make up 1% of the population. I guess my biggest advice for you is to not compare yourself to any of the other types, to anybody else, because it's a losing game. You're always going to feel like you're not productive or you're not doing enough or you're just not doing things enough, but fuck that. All you need to do, you want to compare yourself to the moon. There is a phase for everything. Things get done month by month on a month by month basis, and no one that isn't a reflector really understands what it's like to be you. If you're going to hire a coach, hire a reflector who can play your game and that you look up to in your field. Be really conscious about hiring a generator mentor because you think that you will get generator behavior by being around them all the time, and you might for a minute, but it's not sustainable and it'll wear off the second you leave the building. A reflector is a different person every day of the week, every month, really. Like your different pieces of your chart. So a reflector has all open centers, okay? Which, how beautiful is that? If we were comparing the human design types to like a car, the reflector would be the rear view mirror. You're reflecting back to us the energy that you're being given, and it's required for our clarity. We need that mirror because every single chart in your every single center in your chart is open. You are open to everything and attached to nothing. You are here to filter the world by taking it all in and choosing the course of a lunar cycle, picking and choosing what's a right fit for you. It's really a unique process, and of all the human design types, I'm the most adamant that when it comes to reflectors in business, that they should only get one-on-one mentored by other reflectors when it comes to business coaching. For spiritual teaching, you could hire anybody, but for like productivity, reflectors only, because they're the only ones who are really going to understand you and give you a sustainable path that you can actually keep up with. As a reflector, your aura is sampling and reflective. Your strategy is to wait a lunar cycle. When you are following your strategy and you are in your energy of being sampling and reflective, you feel surprise. When you are not honoring your strategy of waiting for a lunar cycle, you feel disappointed. If we were comparing each of the different human design types into like fashion houses, like projectors are the Chanel, generators are the basics like the Calvin Kleins, the white tee, the jeans, reflectors are the jewelry. You're not any piece of clothing, but just a little bit of you can really elevate the whole look of an outfit. Because your strategy is to wait a lunar cycle, I know it doesn't seem fair that it takes you a month, but you're the 1%, and that's just your strategy, and that's how clarity comes to you. It doesn't matter whether or not you think it's fair. That's how you receive clarity, and that's how the rest of us are clear. We're not clear until you're clear. We could say like the manifestors provide the blueprint for the buildings, the generators are the construction workers, the manifesting generators find the shortcuts in the building process, the projectors are the foremen to make sure all the workers are doing their jobs correctly, and then the reflectors go in last to assess like the overall safety and the functionality of the building, as well as it's like its presence in the community. Everyone has a job to do. The strategy for a reflector is to wait a lunar cycle. And man, if they don't hate this, but you can either do it and feel surprised, or you can avoid it and be disappointed. So the aligned reflector feels surprised, and the misaligned reflector feels disappointed. Things can take a long time for reflectors, and when they follow their strategy, trusting that it will all come together in perfect timing within a lunar cycle, they do feel pleasantly surprised with how everything works. It's just better than they imagined, and it all worked out. But when they refuse to wait, comparing their timeline with the timeline of literally anybody else, it's a disaster, and the disappointment can be so profound and long-lasting that they never want to attempt something again. As a reflector, you're going to be a different potential human design type throughout the course of a lunar cycle. You're going to have days where you're a manifester, that like days where you're going to be a generator, Manny-gen days, and all types of different projector days as well. And if you trust your timing and you trust the flow, you will see that it all gets done surprisingly easily. You can either trust your flow and feel surprised, or not trust the flow and be disappointed. You operate on this 28-day lunar cycle, and you really do need time to process big decisions. So you really shouldn't rush when it comes to that. You're deeply sensitive and intuitive. Your open design makes you highly in tune with the collective energy, and you can sense the truth about people, places, trends. you're really a chameleon because you absorb and reflect energy. You're going to feel different and with different people in different spaces in different situations. And you love surprise. When you are in the right environment, when you're following your strategy, life just feels magical and full of delightful surprises. But when you're in the wrong environment, you feel drained and disappointed. So, as a reflector, it's your job to speak to the collective. You are a big filter for life. So, therefore, your research needs to cast a wide net. You need to study the astrological transits and understand where the collective is at and where the collective is going. Now, while a lot of people understand that the collective is changing, they're resistant and they're holding on. So you need to guide them to the next level. You're going to assure them that times have changed. Instagram is over and we're moving forward more towards a more authentic content only model. No more good foot forward only platforms. There's something about the calm, clear way that you let people know that it's not just them. It's all of us, and it creates an insane amount of trust. It's your job to become known for the big picture and make a lifestyle of studying the big picture. We only behave in unpredictable ways when the planets behave in predictable ways. If you predict the planets and smooth the transition. So reflectors, you have to trust your timing. If you've been trying to make things happen in less than a month, please know that it's not clear to others until it's clear to you. If a mirror is dirty in one spot, the mirror is dirty. You're either totally clear or totally not. So allow time for the clarification process to take its full 28-day cycle. Talk it out with your audience while you're building and before committing to a new project. And you can avoid the disappointment of not knowing what the fuck you're even selling. You can either start and stop over and over and over again until you convince yourself you'll never finish anything, or you can wait a lunar cycle for the next piece of the puzzle to come forward. In the meantime, study and communicate with the collective. So what you can do is like study social media trends, astrological trends in general. Like if you want to do something today, reflect on the lessons that you've received over the last 28 days and keep a journal in paper, like on books with dates so that you can track your progress. Never set a large goal for yourself with a 1-week deadline unless you want to be disappointed. You are the most held of all of the types. You are literally held up and supported by every planet and every person. It's time to acknowledge that where you are weak, they are strong. And that strength can be yours if you wait a lunar cycle and allow life to feed you, work for you, and give you a day as each and every type to get it all done. And don't confuse physical rest with mental rest. Each are needed. So you can use the data of your reflections and let us know how you came to these conclusions. So like after examining the evidence, I found that according to my research, after reflecting on the situation, I found that after polling my audience for the last month, I learned that this is what's really going on here. So hindsight is 20/20 for reflectors. There's always something that you're clear about. It's behind you. You are clarifying what's currently bothering you, but you've already clarified something in the past. A pro tip is to use your audience's words right back to them. If they said, I struggle with making the time, when you're ready to sell, say, I know you struggle with making the time. So questions for you to answer are, what have you recently clarified? And who can this serve? So now is the time for you to fill in your aura type, your strategy, your self theme, and your not self theme in your human design coloring book. Ding, ding, ding. And then we're going to come back here and we're doing an audit on where in your business you're currently feeling disappointed. Because understand, as a reflector, wherever you currently feel disappointed is an opportunity to evolve. There's something here that's ready to shift. There's something here that requires your attention, and that disappointment will drive you to create. We don't want to live in the disappointment, though. We want to learn from it and move forward and evolve with it. So once you've filled those things in your coloring book, I want you to do this full business audit using your disappointment as the clues. So the way that we're going to do our business audit is we're going to ask ourselves, so where are you currently feeling disappointed in your business? What would surprise look like for me in this area of my business? And then these 5 questions are Tony Robbins' 5 questions for moving around any block, because you're not meant to live in this disappointment. We want to move through it. So asking yourself, how is this disappointment great? Hint, it's giving you a clue is what needs to change. What's not perfect yet? What needs to be done in order to make things surprising for me in this area? What do I need to stop doing in order to make things how I want it? And how can I enjoy it? So I want you to fill in those answers to your full business audit as well as your human design coloring book. And then you're going to turn in your full business audit in the homework chat linked below. I'll see you in the next one.